guys, welcome back to my channel. I've got some really bad sinuses right now, so my voice is, it's gone. Like, well, it's not gone completely, but it's on its way. I just don't feel like I have too much longer to make use of my voice box, so I need to go ahead and get this video filmed. I will go ahead and say I'm not going to be doing any kind of like check-ins tonight because quite honestly, it's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I just did my makeup. I got my hair done earlier today. You can tell it's a lot darker, which if I could just go straight black, I would. I just love my hair dark, but I don't wear makeup when I go get my hair done because it's just going to get washed off when she washes my hair anyway. So I just decided to come home really quick and film this before my kids get home because tomorrow is my peeling day. I always peel on Fridays really bad, and so I didn't want to get in front of the camera doing a foundation review on my peeling day. So we are here to talk about the Shiseido Synchro Skin Glow. I can't even express to you the excitement that I had over this foundation when it launched. In fact, I didn't think it was going to launch until mid-February. So when one of you lovely subscribers told me that it was already on Nordstrom's website, I went directly over and bought it before I even responded to tell you thank you. Like, I just wanted to make sure that I got the color I wanted. So this is in the same exact packaging with the kind of weird shaped top as the Synchro Skin. It does have a pump. It's 1 ounce and it's $45, just like the Synchro Skin. I can't say for sure whether the shades are the same because I have Golden 2 and Golden 4 in the Synchro Skin that I mix this time of year. So I got Golden 3 thinking that the mid-range would work, and it has worked. So I don't know if the Golden 3 is the same as the Golden 3 in the Synchro Skin. I wish I could help you, but I can't. I think though, because this does work, and I mix 2 and 4, that they're probably pretty similar. This does have an SPF 20, just like the Synchro Skin. So pretty much everything's the same packaging, amount of product, price, and SPF. So we're gonna talk about this bad boy. I have been wearing this foundation for the past 6 days. I'm at the point where I'm like, I wanna wear something else. And it's not because I don't like it, it's just because you know how many foundations I have and I like to mix it up. So going 6 days in a row wearing the same thing, it gets to a point where I'm like, I want something else. So, but because I have been wearing this 6 days, I've gotten a lot of information. I've gotten a lot of feelings about this foundation that I do want to go over with you. I did this the same type of way that I did my Giorgio Armani Power Fabric Foundation review, where I did take notes on what primer I used, what powder I used, how long I wore it, and pros and cons per day. And then I've got kind of an overall pro and con list that I'll talk about at the very end. I will say I posted a picture on Instagram yesterday where I had half of my face was this foundation and the other half was a drugstore foundation that retails for $13. And I asked if y'all could tell which one was which side was the more expensive, which side was the cheaper. And quite honestly, it was half and half. Half of you said my right side of the face was the most expensive. Half of you said my left side of the face was the most expensive. So I think that kind of gives a testament to where you maybe really can't tell. And I did the same thing today to where I wore this foundation on one side of my face and I wore this drugstore foundation on the other side of my face. The reason I did this was because the more I used this foundation, I really did find that I think it was so similar to this drugstore foundation that I couldn't not do a half and half wear test, and I wanted you to see it directly. I think the lighting was a little off in that picture on Instagram, so a lot of you were like, I don't know, one side looks more pigmented, one side doesn't. So I'm gonna do a close-up real quick and let you decide which one you think is the Shiseido side. And when I ask, because I want y'all to write it down in the description box while I'm showing you, when I ask you to write it down, I want you to tell me my side of the face. So if you say your right side, I want it to be this side, not this side, which is your right side, the right side that you're saying. Does that make sense? So whatever side of my actual face it is, because I'm really curious to see if you can tell. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. I don't want the lighting to get away, but welcome to my face. This side is one foundation. Let you look at it for a second. And this side is the other foundation. So I'm gonna let you look at that for a second. And then both sides. So again, this is my right side. This is my left side. So if you think the right side is the Shiseido, put right. If you think it's the left, put left. I'm doing this purely out of curiosity to see how it translates over the camera. I asked Chad yesterday, I asked him in the car and at the end of the night, and he was like, I don't know. I mean, it looks the same. It's so stupid of me to try to ask my husband because he has no clue about makeup. And I wasn't around anybody else yesterday that I could have asked that maybe did have a clue about makeup. So I'm interested to see what you say. I'll tell you obviously at the end of the video. I am going to cut to the demo real quick and come back. This was a different day, and come back and talk about the foundation. All right, so we're gonna do a really quick demo of this because I'm doing things a little bit differently this time again, and I just wanna do the demo very quickly before I start talking about it versus talking about it while I'm doing the demo. So I've already primed my face, and I do have color corrector on. I'm sorry about my nasally voice. 3 out of 4 of my family has got awful sinuses right now, and so all of us are sneezing and coughing, so I might be sniffing a little bit in this, but I think y'all will be okay with that. All right, so I'm going to do one half of my face with my Zoeva 102 Silk Finish brush, foundation brush, and I'm going to do one half with my Beauty Junkie sponge. I'm in the color Golden 3, so I'm going to take 2 pumps. It is much runnier than the Synchro Skin, which you can kind of expect from a glowy foundation. I don't know, I just don't think of thick foundations when I think of glowy, dewy looks. So on this side of my face, I am going to use the Beauty Junkie sponge and blend that out. And then I'm going to take my brush on the other side of my face. So I do use the full 2 pumps when I use this foundation. So there's just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit that the brush took off when I was trying to blend it in over here on my redness. I'm just going to press a little bit of that in with my Beauty Blender. So I hope that you can see. I'm going to try to maybe angle my light a little bit that way so it doesn't glare so much, but I hope you can see what kind of coverage it has. I didn't have a ton of like redness or whatever today. I've been using a moisturizer that's really helping that, but I do feel like it is just a light to medium coverage. I don't feel like you can get more than that out of this foundation. So that is the demo of how I apply it on the face, and I will talk better in my review portion about the different techniques and tools to use. The finish is what I would call a dewy luminous finish. I mean, the name is Synchro Glow, so you don't expect it to be matte, and it's not. It does have the finish that it claims to have. So I think that that's pretty much coming through on camera right now. Okay, and real quick, before I actually go into the review part, this is what it looks like with everything else on. So again, this is the Shiseido in Golden 3 with all the makeup applied on top. Now we're actually going to get into the review. So it is a little bit runnier. I do find it applies better with the brush. When I first applied this foundation, the very first day I tried it, I put it on and I started to blend it out with a brush, and I was like, what in the, there's like no coverage to this. I texted my friend, I'm like, what is up? Like this has no coverage. I don't get it. I was a little dismayed, but I felt like I could build it up a little bit. So this is definitely a light to medium coverage foundation. I don't know that anybody could convince me that it is anything more than a medium coverage. And it definitely starts out light. Like I feel like you have to build it up on the areas that you do want a little bit more coverage. So where I have my redness, I do have to go back and put a little bit more, but I still find that 2 pumps cover my entire face. So I don't necessarily feel like I'm using more foundation. I think it just applies a little bit differently. So I don't get the actual coverage that I desire personally until I have to build up certain areas of my face. So the first day that I wore this, I used my IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores, and I set it with my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Pressed Powder. And I remember thinking, okay, it's pretty, it has a nice finish, it is definitely glowy. This is definitely a glowy foundation, but it's a little too glowy. Like, and I thought by the end of the day that I can't believe this, but I don't like this foundation. Like I felt like I had to touch up too much. The coverage was just killing me because I still couldn't get over the fact that when I first put it on, it was like nothing. I felt like I was putting face and body on, but maybe even not face and body. Like it was very disconcerting. I did have my peeling skin because it was on a Friday. I applied at 8:30 in the morning. I took it off at around 8:30 at night. I didn't feel like it wore off throughout the day, but I just wasn't loving it. The next day, or actually it was 2 days from then, because I don't remember why. I worked on Saturday and I just chose to wear something else. So the next day I wore the Pores No More Pore Refining Primer, and I set it with the Naked Skin by Urban Decay Loose Powder. I liked it a lot more this day. I didn't like it a ton. It still was not wowing me, and I was still like, oh, and I texted my friend, I'm like, I like it a little bit more today. I don't know. She was like, I really like it. And I'm like, I don't know. I did use my beauty blender this day, and I had a full day. It was Super Bowl Sunday, so I had church. I had to go grocery shopping. We went to a party for the Super Bowl. I had company over before the party for the Super Bowl. It was a full day. So I still felt like it stayed on my skin throughout the day fine. Like I didn't feel like it wore off that much, and I do feel like I didn't have to touch up on this day. The first day, I'll lose my voice in this video. The first day I did have to touch up midday. This day I didn't. I don't know if it was kind of a combination of both of these products or maybe just the powder. I don't know. There was not any sinkage into my fine lines on this day. There wasn't really on the first day either, so that was good. You know, I didn't have any like cakey smile lines by the end of the day. It did not get cakey, and I will say that my pores looked really good at the end of the night on this day. Sometimes they don't look so good at the end of the night, and a lot of times that has to do with the foundation that can sometimes cake up throughout the day. This one did not. I will say I did find on this day, I noticed that it does oxidize about a half of a shade. I don't find that with my Shiseido Synchro Skin, so I don't know if that's going to change your mind on maybe what shade you're wanting to get. I'm not sure, but I do find that it oxidizes about a half a shade. So at the end of this day, I was like, all right, this is good. We're okay. Like the first day I was like, no. The second day I was like, okay, I'm starting to like it more. I had it on Super Bowl Sunday for 11 and a half hours. So again, a good wear test. I rarely wear my foundation for less. Like today, obviously I will since I didn't put it on until 3 o'clock, but most days I wear it for at least 10 hours. So the next day I used the Lancome Le Base Pro Hydra Glow Powder Primer, and I set it with my Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. Both products that I love together and separate. This day, I guess I should say, was the worst day, I feel like. And if you want to see what it looks like right after I put it on, this is the day that I filmed my Amazing Cosmetics concealer video. So when I was going back to edit that video, and I did a close-up and I looked at the editing, I feel like I could see to the very bottom of my skin layers through my pores. Like I don't know that my pores have ever looked that large after just using the primer and the foundation. It was almost embarrassing. I'm like, holy cow, my pores have never looked this bad. Once I set it and everything, I felt like it looked okay. I did wear it for 10 hours on this day. And also, I used a beauty blender again on this day. I feel like I kept trying to like make the beauty blender work, but it was really weird. It patched up awful with a beauty blender, like bad. I had to go back in with a brush and then just kind of blend over any streak marks with the beauty blender. I did not like it on this day with the beauty blender. I chose to touch up after 5 hours, but I probably didn't have to. I just wanted my forehead to be a little less shiny. I do have normal skin, but sometimes I get a little shiny. I feel like a broken record. I'm sorry for those of y'all who have been with me forever and know this, but some of y'all are new and don't know that there's some certain ingredients and certain things that cause me to be shinier than other products. So sometimes I do still feel like I have to touch up, even though I don't have oily skin. Hope that makes sense. It did sink into my laugh lines and my pores a lot more on this day. I don't know why. I mean, I can only attribute it to how it worked with the primer and the powder, but it sunk in a lot more on this day. And by the end of the night, if I wasn't about to take it off, I would have wanted to touch up again. So it was a multiple touch-up day. I don't know, it just wasn't my favorite. So then the next day was the 4th day, and I decided to use my very favorite primer, the YSL Touche Éclat, and one of my very favorite powders, the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder. So this day was yesterday when I posted that Instagram picture. So I only wore it on half the side of my face. but these are the products that I have on. These are also the products that I have on today. I find these work the best. Now, I find these work really the best with everything. So I don't know if you want to spend $45 on something that you have to make sure all the other things you use with it are the best of the best. I don't know, but I feel like these two products work the best with them. It kept it not shiny, but it still had like a nice natural glow to it. I like natural looking skin. I don't like dewy looking skin, but it wasn't matte, too matte to where it still didn't look natural. I didn't touch up at all. It stayed really well throughout the day. It stayed really well throughout my workout. I used a brush with it that day. And I had it on for 13 hours. So that was the day that I had it on the absolute longest. And honestly, at the very 13 hours, that's when I went to Chad and I'm like, okay, can you see a difference now? And he was like, it looks exactly like it did at 11 o'clock this morning. He didn't know what he was saying, but he's verifying the fact that it did not budge with these two products. I really enjoyed the foundation yesterday. Now, it has alcohol in it. I didn't mention that at the very beginning. It has SD alcohol in it. Not the best kind, and it's pretty far up on the list. Find my box right here. It's number 8 on the list. So this is the box that comes in with the ingredients. I don't know why they have to put alcohol in a glowy foundation. I get it for a matte, but I don't know why they have to for this. Whatever. I don't mind. I don't like wearing it every day, but if you mind and you're sensitive, you're going to steer clear of this because it is pretty high up. My overall thoughts on this foundation. It doesn't touch my Syncro skin. Like, it doesn't touch it. I feel like I would have been honestly totally fine if I didn't buy this foundation. I'm not sending it back because it's Shiseido and it's a foundation and it has its spot in my family. It's not my favorite. It's not the worst, but I'm not going to be like I was with the Synchro skin and be like, go out and buy it right now. And I'll tell you why. It's a very nice foundation. I feel like it will work a little bit better on dry skin than the Shiseido Synchro skin. But the drugstore one that I use with it, y'all, I think it's the exact same thing. It looked exactly the same last night before I washed my face. I honestly could not tell a single bit of difference. One didn't sink into the lines and pores more than the other one. One didn't oxidize more than the other one. In fact, the Shiseido is a little bit lighter than the other one, so it matches up fairly well. One is not cakier than the other one. One did not break up more than the other one. I mean, honestly, they worked the exact same way on me. So saying that, I'm going to tell you what the drugstore one is. It's the Neutrogena Hydra Boost Hydrating Tint. Okay, I used this in my Get Ready With Me. When I used it in my Get Ready With Me, it was not the first time I had used it. I look forward to using this foundation. This one's like, okay, and maybe that's just because I've worn this for the past 6 days and I'm ready for a change. But I don't know. I feel like this is $13. This is $45. You can save a good bit of money, especially if you get a sale for Neutrogena. A lot of times Ulta has it for 40% off. Not buy one, get one, but just straight 40% off. That I don't know that I would recommend the Shiseido over it. So if you're on a budget, my point is the reason I did this because I understand not all of us have $45 to drop before we answer a comment. I get that. And I understand that there's not people who have multiple foundations, but I also understand that sometimes when you see a review and you're like, oh, I just really want it. Like, she's making it sound so wonderful and this and that you sometimes feel pressured. You're like, I need to buy that. And I mean, I'm in that same boat. Sometimes I'm like, that's why they make videos called YouTube Made Me Buy It, because I mean, that's what YouTube does. It makes me buy things. So I understand that. And so the reason that I did want to tell you about the cheaper option is because I don't think that if you are on a budget, or even if you aren't on a budget, I don't think you have to spend $45 on this foundation. You can get the same effect from the Neutrogena. I am not putting this foundation down. I do enjoy this foundation. If you want to know how it looks on my face at the very end of a day, you can go back to my Amazing Cosmetics concealer video, and at the end of that, I do a check-in, and you can see kind of how it looks at the end of that day. I wasn't feeling it at the end of that day, so you can kind of see how it wears throughout the day, and I just feel like with these two products right here, by far the best. The next best was the Pores No More and the Naked Skin. I didn't love the other two. So, hopefully that gives you an idea of maybe what products will work best, at least on my skin. And hopefully that answered some of the questions that you had about the foundation. I'm interested to see, let me tell you which side is which. Okay, today My left side is the Synchro Skin. My right side is the Neutrogena, okay? I don't know. I mean, this viewfinder's like yay big. But I looked in the mirror too, and I just don't see that much difference. It's not enough difference to warrant the price difference, in my opinion. So if you are a foundation hoarder and junkie like me and you just want it because it's there, by all means buy it. But I did want to show you another option. So again, I hope that this answered any and all questions you may have had. As always, if it didn't, I love when you have questions. Leave that down in the comment section below. Let me know if you've tried it out. I know a lot of people have told me they have and they love it, and that's great because it's not a bad foundation, and I do think it could work different on different people. So I love that y'all love foundation as much as I do. I hope this video was helpful. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a very blessed day.